At 8:30 a.m. on Friday morning, Jenin's morgue was packed. Dozens of young men in black baseball caps, t-shirts and jeans stood silently outside. Some had guns between their knees and green Hamas headbands tied tightly around foreheads. Old men were sitting in front of shuttered shops. Inside, metal door opened and body wrapped in green Hamas flag was carried out on stretcher. A teenager with an assault rifle in one hand gently touched dead Mont's forehead, then helped shoulder the stretcher. And with 5 others they made their way through rubble-strewn streets towards Hamed Fayed's house. The family waited. A few minutes later, a second body was executed, wrapped in the black flag of Islamic Jihad. A month after Hamas attacks that killed 1,400 Israelis, mostly civilians, and injured many more, the level of violence in the occupied West Bank is rising rapidly as Israel's offensive in Gaza continues. 19 Palestinians were killed in with the Israel Defense Forces on Thursday. 14 were in the small northern town of Jenin. The injured were aged between 15 and 40 and included many civilians. 167 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces since October 7, and 8 more people, including a child, were killed by Israeli settlers. According to the UN, 3 Israelis were killed in Palestinian attacks. Jenin has long been a flashpoint between Hamas Israeli security forces, outside the practical control of the Palestinian Authority in Ramallah, and a stronghold of Hamas Islamic Jihad. A major and bloody operation was launched against the town's main refugee camp in July, and took place throughout the summer. These have intensified dramatically in the past month. On Thursday, the IDF launched a counterterrorism operation in which forces exchanged fire with armed terrorists, Israeli media reported, citing IDF statements. "I've never seen anything like this these days," said Ayman Zaid, head of nursing at Main Hospital in Jenin, where the dead and wounded were brought late Thursday evening as fighting finally subsided. They brought them around 2 in the evening. Before, no one could go to the hospital. There were people dying from blood loss on the street. Armed men at a funeral in Jenin. Hamed Fayed, 19, was shot Thursday morning during a between Hamas and the IDF in a maze of narrow streets about 500 meters from the hospital. Neighbors said that Israeli armed forces first entered the city at night and then returned in morning. They came in full force for 3 hours. "We set out to fight them. They had drones and they were really dangerous," said a friend of the dead man, who did not want to give his name. Most of the martyrs were killed by drones, but there was a very close conflict. Hamed went to shoot an Israeli sniper, but the sniper shot him. "I have been his friend since the 3rd grade. He was never afraid. This will make us stronger. But we carry our weapons to become martyrs. Of course, he is a lucky one. This is my wish too."